So we shall definitely see, and we're gonna take a quick little break, and after on the other side of this break, we're gonna talk a little bit about some coaches on the hot seat, because I know me and my guy Ben, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and we're gonna bring in another friend of the show to kind of talk about this, and then we're going to segue somewhere else. But before we do that, Tuesday nights, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, let's talk football. The Round Table comes on Tuesdays. They talk news, they talk notes, they talk ins and outs of football, and they are hosted by my guy that you saw on here earlier, Nicholas I Want to Smoke Rosario, Delilah, and host of Diversity with Delilah Crespo, and another gentleman. He'll be with us after the break. Check this out. Yeah, buddy. Welcome to the show, Anthony Handy. What up, Anthony?
Go, dog. Sugar. Hurt.
Yeah.
My man.
Mind y'all, that's the only time you're going to hear me barking, because I don't want no Q dogs thinking I'm trying to switch sides, okay?
Right. And if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, our guy down here, Mr. Anthony Handy, joins our guy over there, Colin P. from the DMV, Monday nights. And they are this week in SEC. They talk about their Georgia Bulldogs. They talk about Alabama. They talk about everybody in the SEC, players and coaches alike. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and move on. There are a number of coaches we talked about a week ago, top 5 coaches in the country and all the moves they made. And I know Anthony and Colin's coach is on that top 5 list of best with Mr. Kobe Smarter after he got his title this past year. But we're going to switch sides, and we're going to talk about the top 5 coaches on the hot seat, starting with Steve Sarkisian, which I was kind of surprised on, in Texas. Herm Edwards, my guy. We play to win the game. All right. Jeff Collins out of Georgia Tech. Mike Norvell, Florida State. Brian Harsin, who we're going to talk about a little bit later. And number 1, Scott Frost, who's over in Dublin with Nebraska. I'm coming over to you first, Mr. Florida State, Ben Cornett. Your coach is on this list at number 3, Mike Norvell. You talked about him a little bit earlier. What are your thoughts? Is he really – I mean, is this I have to win a bowl in order to keep my job? Or what are they thinking? Is he gone? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, I think from FSU's perspective, they need to not only have a winning season, but not only get to a bowl game, but win a bowl game. Now, of course, again, like I said earlier, the expectations are very high at Florida State, because for years and years, we've never had a downhill spiral like we had in years past. So it's like, oh, we got to have it quickly. Well, that's usually when you get in trouble, is when you get rid of people earlier than expected, not build that foundation. My expectation this year should be 7-5 and to get to a bowl game. And then you go from there. I think that should be enough to save his job. But if he has another year where it's like 5-7, and let's say like he has, God forbid, another embarrassing loss to a lesser team,
Jacksonville State,
then now I will say that that's not good, because you can't be losing to teams like Duquesne and other teams like that. And really Syracuse, because you'll talk about that in a little bit with their coach on the hot seat too. But Babers, if you lose to somebody like that, then, now it gets interesting. Now you're looking at your back of your pants and you're starting to see smoke, and that's not from what you ate earlier. That's from it's heating up, man. And but look, in all seriousness, I think he's going to be around another year. I think it's going to be good enough to keep him one more year, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's interesting. And Anthony, with the name that you and I both mentioned on this list, a former NFL coach, Herm Edwards. I mean, he has Arizona State. It's not expected to win the Pac-12 every year. So, and he's had some decent talent. I'm just surprised to see him on this list. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's got to be a tough one all the way around, because Herm Edwards is very well beloved, was very well beloved as NFL coach, and very highly respected. I think in 2022 though, it comes down to results. When you got NIL now, and you got the battle for recruiting, and you got I think when he came on board, there are a lot of factors now that factor into certain things as a college coach criteria that didn't factor in when he got hired. I mean, now like I said, you got NIL now. You got recruiting. The whole recruiting battle in the spring and in the fall is now just as highly publicized as who went to the draft, who won the national championship.
Very true.
I think the boosters want to win. At the end of the day, the boosters want to win. And we're going to get into that with another coach that's on this list too, and I talked about yesterday. I mean, he hasn't done badly. I mean, he's been 25-18, which is not bad. But in the Pac-12, when you're running with USC, when you're running with UCLA, when you're running with now Oregon, who is surged to the forefront, Utah, who is now making their way into powerhouse status in that same conference, you got to do better than what you're doing. Like me, there was a time when you could have a 25-18 record along those lines consistently and still manage to keep your job. But in 2022, it's not enough.
Yeah, it's winner or go home.
Exactly.
And they're changing people out very, very quickly. Kate, I'm coming to you, and I'm going to go to the Big Ten. Number one name on this list, Scott Frost. We know they're overseas in Dublin playing today. I mean, look, he made all his fame, all his accolades were at Nebraska, and come back and the coach there. And Alex was talking about it a week ago. He's on the hot seat. Like,
yes,
talk to me.
Is.
What does he have to do to stay with the team?
He's got to win his division and go to the Big Ten championship and prove that he can be in the Big Ten and play with the big dogs. And
that's a tall task. Yeah.
It's a very tall task, but he's got a team with talent to do it. He's just got to finish these games. He can't go out and have close losses and close games. He's got to come in and finish. And they have such a good, talented team that he should be able to do it, but he can't finish. No. He gets in there and he battles, and you think he has a chance, and then his opponent just starts rolling over him like Michigan did last year. We went there, and that's a lion's den. Have you ever seen the environment of Nebraska?
Yeah.
It's crazy to go into Nebraska and play football. Their fan base has a lot of expectations. And if he can't get it done and he's not going to finish and he's not going to go to the Big Ten championship, his job should be on the line. Look at Michigan. We have some bad years, and they're like, go to the NFL, Harbaugh, fire him. Oh. Our fans expect a lot. So the Nebraska fans have been known to seen glory. They've seen really good football in their day. So they expect a lot. And so, and unfortunately that falls on your head coach more than it falls on your defensive coordinator, your offensive coordinator. It's more than just the players. It's your coach, because he's the leader. He's the one who sets the game plan. So Scott Frost has a lot to prove in the Big Ten, because the Big Ten, it's scary this year. We have Wisconsin, we have us, we have Michigan State, Ohio State. There's a lot of scary pieces in the Big Ten this season. So Scott Frost has got to prove he belongs there.
Absolutely.
And especially in 2 years when we're going to bring in UCLA and USC, You got some major dogs coming to our conference soon,
Right.
and they're looking at adding more teams like Oregon and Washington too. So you got to show up in the Big Ten or you're going to be shipping out.
You absolutely do. And like you said, they're not only fighting the past and all the national championships and Tommy Frazier and all those guys, but they're also fighting the current coaches. You talk about, shout out to Michigan State, Mel Tucker's,
Right.
Michigan, Harbaugh, Ryan Day at Ohio State. You got solid coaches, legitimate coaches that are proving to have success year in and year out. And if you can't level up with that and you can't measure up to those, it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be hard for you. I want to come over to you, Colin, because the name that you guys have talked about, a team that's actually going to be coming to the SEC in next year, is it? Or is it 2 years?
2025.
2025. The Texas Longhorns and Steve Sarkisian, he's on the hot seat. I mean, that surprises me. What do you think?
No, that surprises me too. I mean, your team, it seems to be the common factor with everybody here on these lists. It comes down to winning, and when you have a team like Texas, and these other teams that are used to winning and have these accolades back in the day, that are used to a certain standard, everybody's quick to jump the gun. And I don't really. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure why he's on that. Why would he be on the hot seat? I mean, honestly, what was his record last year? I mean, I'm not privy to that.
Was he 6 and 7?
Was it losing game?
Was it 6 and 7? Because I don't.
Yeah, I think it was 6 and 7. Yeah, they made a bowl game and lost that, but 6 and 7 sounds about right.
But I think the making it to a bowl game is only. I mean, being a Georgia fan, we make bowl games, we 10-win seasons, that kind of stuff. I mean, you have that expectation for fans, and when it's not the realist, the expectations aren't being met, then obviously there's calls for heads and people losing their job. But I mean, I think, I mean, like Kate said, I mean, I would give him one more year. I don't think. I mean, if he actually has another losing season this year, I could believe Texas would tell him to show him the door. But I don't believe they actually have that losing season this year. They may be a little bit better than 500.
Yeah. I don't see that. See that. Go ahead.
I think the big thing for Texas was last year they came out the gate with both guns blazing, and the pivotal point, of course, the game that we all talk about because of all of the fallout and all of the coaching changes that took place was Red River.
Yeah.
And when Oklahoma came in and Caleb Williams just dissect. I mean, Texas had Oklahoma on their heels. And Oklahoma had always had Texas number, has had Texas number for the past 5-6 years with Lincoln Riley there. When he just dissected them and the season just kind of went up and down from there, I think that was the pivotal point for Texas in their season last year. I mean, they wound up losing, and then as a result, at the end of the season, they lose their quarterback. Casey Thompson is. Where did Casey Thompson wound up? Someplace else? He transferred.
Yeah, he transferred out.
Yeah, I don't forgot where he went to, but that I think. I think that right there is. I think that right there is the point where people just went, because when it's just like with us in Florida. For the longest time, we couldn't beat Florida, and people were like, fire Mark Richt, and they couldn't win that game, and they got rid of Mark Richt, and Kirby came in and he was like, Florida, get out of here, and they're like, we like this kid, so that's just.
Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. I thought, didn't they lose to Kansas at home?
Yeah, that was the pivotal thing. You don't lose to Kansas in football.
That was the one I think that people are saying, okay, that seat's a little warm now. You don't lose to Kansas. That was at Texas too. That was
and they had that game.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing with him being on the hot seat is, I mean, in 2023, he's supposed to get Arch Manning. Which could be a pivotal switch for Texas. So it's surprising with his great recruiting and getting Arch Manning to come to his team that they would put him on the hot seat with that coming in the future.
They may have somebody else in mind.
He's got Quinn Ewers. He's got Quinn Ewers this season.
Yeah.
Right. Not to mention one of the best running backs in the country, in Bijan Robinson. So
Yes,
if you cannot do it this year with this talent, and we don't know what to expect from Quinn Ewers. Obviously, we know, one of them recruited guys out of school, transferred over to Texas. We know what he's supposed to be, and we know what Arch is supposed to be. But what do you think you always say, Anthony? When the rubber meets the road, when the pads come on, that's when Right. That's when I want to see what happens. So until that, it's still a lot of speculation. And at the end of the day, all of this could be changed in one way or the other. You win, you're off this list. You lose, you stay on this list. Ben, I'm going to come to you, and I'm just going to go around clockwise. So I'm going to go Ben, Anthony, me, and then we'll come up around end with Colin. One name on this list that will not be a part of their team next year, or are there any names?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go with Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
I think it's kind of time. They haven't really elevated to the level where they thought when they hired Collins. They went from their last coach to him now. And in the ACC, he shouldn't have that big of a problem because really you only have Clemson, Miami, and Wake Forest. Well, they did until Hartman unfortunately had to take a leave of absence. NC State's coming up. They're getting better. Car Heels, they're getting better. So this is the year where he needs something to show for it. And a bowl game, anything less than even a bowl game, I think he's out of here, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Anthony, what are you thinking?
Well, you know which way I'm going, Brian Harsin.
I know. I knew it. Yeah.
Brian Harsin, hands down. I mean, this story just broke. What was it I told you about yesterday? Reached out to you.
Wait. Save a little bit because I'm going to give you your segment.
Okay.
All right. You talking about that, right?
No. I will talk about that. But Brian Harsin, hands down, I'm going to get into it later. But it's already been established that they want that man gone. And the only thing that will save him, I think the only thing that will save Brian Harsin from not getting fired is for him to win the West Division in the SEC. And we know that's not going to happen.
Wow.
That's a tall order.
Right.
I mean,
right.
So anyway,
very interesting. Yeah, no, for me, I think I have to go Scott Frost. I have to go Scott Frost in Nebraska, and I just think it's not as much because of him. I just think there's too much talent. Ben, I think you were the one who said a week ago when we were on here talking about Nebraska is like Detroit Lions. They have talent, they can get close, but they always seem to lose it at the end. And I think Scott Frost is out.
And that's the thing too. You got to remember, if he had a lot of bad losses, he would have been gone by now. But I think because he had so many close losses, also there's some financial issues too that they lowered his pay too, took a pay cut a little bit to keep him on. But yeah, if he had so many bad losses, like I said, he'd be gone by now. But because they were in games with Michigan, Kate, last year, couple other games, he's getting one more shot. So we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And going to you, Kate, what are your thoughts? Who will not be on the team next year?
Scott Frost, I'm with you. I have to go Big Ten here. He's got a lot to prove this year. And like I said, he needs to take his team all the way and prove to those needy, wanting to win it all Nebraska fans. Because let me tell you, I've watched their banter on Twitter about him, and it's ugly. They want a winning season, or else they want their coach gone.
Wow.
You should see some of the comments I've seen on Twitter about him.
I can only imagine.
It's brutal when the Big Ten coaches aren't winning.
Yeah. And
you have a Ryan Day that is, and you see what Ryan Day's doing in recruiting. They want that at their program. Yeah. And that starts with the coach.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. In most of these, especially in these big name schools, the worst thing that can happen is you win. Because the minute you start winning and winning national championships, all of a sudden, then everybody this is what it should be like forever. We talk about Florida State. And I mean, we know the run that they've had in the early 90s, mid to late 90s, in the early 2000s and 2010s. Like, we know what kind of talent they are. So it's understanding. Georgia, you guys have had the same thing. When you guys are not winning national, you can get to it, or you can get like a game or so from it, and people are like, "Oh, get him out of here,
And another thing, Sean, with the boosters, I'm sorry to interrupt. The boosters, these are boosters that went to school in the 90s and the 2000s, where you had all this win. So that's what they expect.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest thing is the boosters.
Yeah,
and the funny thing that you mentioned, Sean, about the, you get that close, you get that close. It's funny how these folks treat the coaches. Like Mark Richt. Everybody wanted his head on a platter. They fired him, right? Now He shows up on game day on Saturday. There's standing ovations, and we love Coach Rick. And I'm like, anyway. Yeah, I'm like Foobs, that one clip. What?
Right. Yo, Colin P, man, who will not be on this list? Who will be out of a job next year?
I'm a fingers down there because he had let me know that news broke last night, and I was we had been talking about that on and off and on our show and whatever. But it seemed to me that he was just kind of dodging things here and there. He was eventually going to get run over by something.
Oh, yeah.
But I would go. I'll let him get into it a little bit further. But yeah, I would think Harsin is. I mean, do you actually think he's going to coach this season, Fingers? I mean, like they're going to let him coach him this season? I mean, I guess
we go get into it.
Before you get to that, yeah. Ladies, yeah.
Oh, hang on. We gonna do something for two something, nephew. Hang tight.
Come on with it. So look, hey, this is the top 5 coaches. Again, you win, you continue to win. You don't have to worry about this, but you lose any of these guys. What's his name? Mike Norvell, we talked about him. If they lose, Scott Frost, we talked about him. If they lose this opening week, you already need to, maybe start putting your stuff together because you're going to have to turn it around. You've had time. You need to get it done. So,
hey, Bob Stoops, are you doing anything right now?
Exactly. He said, come on.
Hey, Sean, listen, I'm going to head out, but I really, really appreciate you having me on, man. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, Thank you for coming on, Ben.
Yeah, Colin, nice to meet you, sir. Good luck with your games. And my man, Anthony.
The instigator. We call him that's the instigator on NFL edition.
Let's go.
He's like in middle school, you always had the one guy that was kind of the bully and the other guy that was always the fall guy. He's the guy in the middle that would go to the bully and go, hey, that man said your mama ugly, and then step back to the cat.
It was him. Yo,
I'm like the Sami Zayn of.
So now that's how he does me. He'd be like, hey man, Marty said your Falcons suck.
Right. He said it right. Well, yo, hey, real quick, before you go, man, tell everybody, NFL Edition, Bucks Report, all that, and even what you were doing last night. Talk to the people so we know where we can find you, where we can hop on.
Sure. I am on, as you know, Facebook. I do lives usually every Fridays. I may miss a Friday or two, just depending on my schedule. But I'm also on NFL Edition on Bucks Report every Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And I'm also on Twitter at BennyBoy702, BennyBoy 702. 702 is the area code where I'm at. So check me out there. And like I said, NFL Edition every Thursday night, Bucks Report. It's me, Johnny Dean, Alex Loosemore, Marty McKnight. You saw Anthony on there earlier. Oh, yeah. He was there this past Thursday night. We really talked about football, and we tend to BS a lot too. So we make it a lot of fun for everybody.
I can dig it. Yo, hey, real quick before you go, hey, you mentioned our guy Alex Loosemore is not on the show. Shout out to him recovering from COVID. And we have something that we want him to do if Ohio State and Michigan plays. But in honor of him not being here, had to bring on the khakis. Had to rock the khakis for my guy. You
watching Alex?
Alex, I put him on. You got to, man. Yo,
amen.
Khakis are the best.
Yes.
I wear khakis to work at least once a week. What you talking about?
You do the hardballs? That's what we call them up here.
There we go. In Michigan. Yo, Ben, my guy, I appreciate you so much, man. Hey, anytime you want to come on Saturday morning, you know where we're at. Come on here and chat it up with us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everybody, for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you for coming on.
Sir.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.